Welcome back. JSW Energy's results are in line with expectation. The plant load factor was hit due to the lockdown, but the positives are that the margins have improved. The company has reduced debt by 450 crores. Prashant Jain, Joint Managing Director and CEO at JSW Energy, joins us now. Prashant, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Can you tell us the position since in July as well? How much is the power consumption and how much are you paid? We just were woken up to the fact that dues from DISCOMs have actually shot up.
Yeah, good morning. So power demand during the last quarter, it contracted 16%. However, we have been seeing the moderation in the contraction month on month from 23% contraction in the month of April. It came down to 10% in the month of June, and July it was approximately, the provisional figures are 3.5%.
So, getting paid, sir, that is the point.
So if you look at the receivable sides, we did much better, as compared to our receivables which were due as on March 2020. We are down by 20%. So whatever billing we did in the month of in the entire quarter and also in the month of July, as we are speaking, we are down by 20%. So we recovered quite a lot of overdues.
Okay. Now that you don't have Kamalanga, we cannot include it. What would be the capacity addition or your total capacity by the end of the year?
During the year, we are not going to add up.
You will everything. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. But we are sticking to our plans to grow our capacity to 10 gigawatt, but primarily it will be coming from renewable space.
Okay. You mentioned, sir, that during the quarter the generation volumes fell by about 16%. Merchant volumes were also down by about 75%. Can you tell us what the next few months or the quarters could look like? And by the end of the year, what kind of growth or degrowth are we looking at in terms of volumes?
You need to look at that, our generation has been reflecting absolutely in terms of the demand contraction. So our generation went down by 16%, and that was the demand contraction in the entire quarter for the country as a whole. And 83% of our PPAs are long-term PPAs, so we are protected in terms of our earnings. So I see that 95% of our EBITDA will be protected, and then only 5% of EBITDA will be subjected to the merchant tariffs, and merchant tariffs will be subdued. So therefore, in terms of earning forecast, I think we will be having quite a stable year, and our PBT will be improving because of reduced debt. But in terms of generation, it will be totally reflecting the economic environment.
Can you give us a little more data on your debt? Did you take moratorium? What will be the consolidated debt by the end of the year? And what will be your quarterly interest outgo?
So, we had taken a moratorium in the month of March and April, but after that we have prepaid all our debt, including whatever we had taken the moratorium. And, during the quarter, we have prepaid close to 450 crores. And with that, our net debt is 8,500 crores. But as we are speaking, our net debt is below 8,000 crores. So we have in the month of July also further prepaid our debt because of, we received quite a lot of receivables, and that's why we will be, in a better position. As regards to the interest cost, during the quarter, it was 240 crores. However, a lot of, our debt, it got reset with the reset in the new MCLR. Last year or in the March quarter, our average interest cost was approximately 9.2 or 9.14%. But in the month of June, it was 8.44%. So on a reduced interest rate as well as on the reduced debt, our interest outgo will be pretty low during the quarter.
Right, that's good to hear. Mr. Jain, we'll re-invite you for a more detailed discussion on your future plans. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a lot of results to run through. So let me go to Sonal for UPL numbers.
Well, UPL numbers were mixed, Lata. Our revenues declined by 1% versus an expectation of 7% increase. However, margins, they were a beat, increased 170 basis points on a YOY basis because of synergy benefits from Arista acquisition and also because of higher gross margins. On the balance sheet front, while the net debt was flat on a quarter-on-quarter basis, the gross debt, that has increased substantially, and the company says that they have high cash on the books, but they will not be using it to pay debt because of the COVID pandemic scenario. In terms of guidance, they have guided for 6 to 8% revenue growth and 10 to 12% EBITDA growth, and also looking for a debt reduction this time. Back to you.
Okay, Sonal, thanks a lot for that. Nigel, you have a couple of more results on your radar?
Well, that's right, Anuj, and all of them are not looking very, very great. Let's start off with Tata Steel long products out there. Remember, we're comparing it on a sequential basis because the same quarter last year, Usha Martin acquisition wasn't available for the entire quarter. So on a sequential basis, the numbers look a little bit lower. Both prices as well as volumes were lower, so revenue declined by 35%. Margins came in only at around 1.1%. Moving to Tata Metallics, this is the first time they've reported a net loss all the way since 2013-14. So, both the businesses struggled. That's the ductile iron pipes business as well as the pig iron business. The pig iron EBIT came in negative, so that's what dragged the performance. Relaxo Footwear, they got locked down because the revenues were down by more than 40%. The margins were more or less stable, but the profitability took a hit of around 50%. And finally, Nelco, out there the numbers as well looked weakish. Yes, they had more or less a flattish top line, but margins contracted by around 150 basis points. So those as well look a little bit weakish. Back to you.
All right, Nigel, thanks a lot. Now let's go across to Nupur. She has some more results on her radar. Nupur, over to you.
Thyrokel Technologies on expected line due to lockdown. Company reported weak Q1 earnings, revenues down 49%, margins came in at just 14%, but company has seen revival in their non-COVID business from the end of June and early July onwards. So street will look forward in terms of balanced part of FY21 performance. So keep an eye on that stock. Godrej Agrovet reported strong operating performance, gross margins improved to 27%, operating profits up 17%, and as a result of that, profits up 29%. Viatec Wabag also reported strong Q4 earnings despite COVID-19 disruptions. Revenues up 16%, margins came in at 6.4% versus 5.9% same period last year. Management indicated that cost control measures resulted in significant improvement in their operating performance. But these are backdated numbers. We are already into second half of FY21. Back to you.
Oh, of course, but we will still take those two strong numbers that you reported, Nupur. And finally, Mangalam, the PLI scheme, the performance-led incentive scheme has been announced. Who may benefit?
Well, Lata, as far as this PLI scheme is concerned, this is for the mobile manufacturing and mobile parts manufacturing out there. The government expects nearly 11.5 lakh crore worth investments coming in. More than that, the value-added component in Indian mobile manufacturing is close to around 15 to 20%. They expect this to double to over 30-odd%. Sentiment positive definitely for manufacturers of electronic products, the likes of Dixon Tech as well as Amber Enterprises. But important to know how much money actually comes in, what the nitty-gritties of this scheme are, and whether there really would be more investments that would come by in this sector. But for now, sentiment positive for Dixon and Amber.
Okay, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. And now let's go across to Manisha for a quick roundup of all the commodity market action. Manisha, good morning.
Morning, Anuj. Thank you for that. Well, the day has begun with yet another all-time high in case of gold, $1,996 per ounce to be exact. So just $4 away from that psychological level of 2,000. But we did see some profit taking from those levels as the US dollar has rebounded. So gold is off its highs. We've seen the metal prices also come under pressure as the US and China row. Somehow the tensions have been increasing. The Asian stock markets are mixed. So while the month of July was an amazing one for the base metal prices also, but today in Asia, we have started on a weaker note for this sector.
Okay, thank you very much. Almost 2,000 there on gold. We take a break on that note. Back from the break, we will have our technical experts with us.